All right.
Should I
You're
talk
on.
now?
You're on. All you know.
The baskets are full.
Yay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So good morning once again, everyone. Are you guys as happy to be in this room right now as I am to be in this room? You happy to be here? I want to thank you all for just creating such a really sweet community. Is this the paparazzi camera? Hello, our streaming audience. We saved you a seat. You're not here. But this is as close as we get. I want to thank you, Jenny, for being the hub of this community for so long. In times it would be a lot easier not to do what you're doing, and you have stayed with it all the way through, and done it in a really, really good, really beautiful way. So thank you for that. Thank you for trusting me with your community, inviting me back.
I don't know, Greg. You can be a little sketch sometimes.
That's why I'm saying trust. Thank you for trusting, because she doesn't know what I'm going to say today. So
No,
we don't know how. I don't know what I'm going to say because I haven't done this yet. It's not no slides, no visuals. We're going to do this from the heart. I think you all know the community is more important now than ever. And just sitting here listening to everyone that we just placed into that prayer circle, and I know some of you had people that you just didn't speak up, that you could have put into that prayer circle. I think we all know, and it's fair to say, it's a tough time on planet Earth. And it's also a beautiful time on planet Earth. Two things could be true at the same time. And it's such a rare opportunity to live through a window of history, the way that we are living, when all of the things, the old systems that are no longer sustainable, they are collapsing, buckling and collapsing under the weight of their own insustainability. They have to, because they're unsustainable. And that means we're living not only the end of those systems, the beginning of what comes next. And how often you get to build a new world? I mean, that's pretty cool. So here we are building a new world, and we're building the world based on what we believe to be true about ourselves and our relationship to one another, and to the earth, to other people, to the heavens, to the cosmos, to God, to the future, to the past. We live our lives based upon the way that we've been taught to think about ourselves, our story. Would you agree with that? Our story. And we all have a story. I mean, it comes from our primary caretakers. It could be your parents or whoever it is that raises you when you're early. They begin to reflect back to you who you are, what you are capable of, what your limits are, and those are reinforced through your community, through your society, our society, through our educational system, through science, false assumptions of obsolete science, through our own personal experience. So I want to talk to you about this because it's more than just a peripheral concept. This isn't just like a philosophical thing that we do on a napkin at Starbucks and say, what's my story? Literally, you live your life based upon your story, and that means that you build your world based upon your story. We create our friendships based upon the way that we think of ourselves, our life partners, our most intimate partners that we bring into our lives, into our homes, into our beds. It's all based upon our self-perception, the way we think of ourselves, the way we heal our bodies, if we are capable of healing our bodies, or if we need someone else to do the healing for us. That is part of the story. We choose our politics. We build our society. We use the resources of this planet, our water, our food, energy. It's all based on the way we think about ourselves. So all of a sudden, I mean, if you haven't thought about this, you see that our story is foundational. It's not peripheral. It's the bottom line for every moment of every day in our lives, and that's what I want to talk to you about today, because there's something missing in our story. And I think you probably have sensed that since you were young. I know I did when I was in academia for a period of time. It's not that what we're taught necessarily is wrong. Some of it is, but it's mostly incomplete. It's incomplete. We are given an incomplete story in terms of the way we think about ourselves, and here's why that's important. Are there any Star Trek fans in here? Any Star Trek? Okay. So if I say prime directive, you know what that means, right? So our prime directive on this planet. Bottom line, consciously and subconsciously, whether we talk about it at breakfast or in our spiritual gatherings or whatever it is, our prime directive is we are seeking wholeness. And we will stop at nothing to get that wholeness. We'll create the most bizarre relationships. We'll reel in the most interesting people to reflect back to us the things that we have forgotten about ourselves and that we are asking ourselves to remember. If we don't know that, you think, man, I've just got a bad relationship. I'm going to go get another one, and that doesn't work, and I'm going to get another one, and then we end up with a few divorces, and we were just talking about this in the green room. The whole concept of who we are and our story begins with the way that our society, the way our religion, when it comes to spirituality, the way they have led us to think of ourselves. So what we know is that the teachings are incomplete at best, and as I mentioned, some are even wrong. So I'm going to begin with just a little story. I like stories. Okay, story. 1,600 years ago, under the cover of a full moon on a warm Egyptian night, a group of Coptic monks snuck out of a monastery along the Nile, and they carried with them a vase, 24 inches tall, 2 feet, clay vase. They didn't even have a lid. They took an old plate and turned it upside down and made makeshift glue to seal the contents into that jar. And into that jar, they placed 13 leather-bound manuscripts. And each manuscript contained books, and altogether there were 50 books and 2 partial books, 50 complete and 2 partial books. And I'm saying this to you now because they were buried in the Egyptian desert 1,600 years ago. They were buried because they had just been banned and forbidden in Rome. Now, it was a different time in Rome. See if this sounds familiar. Rome was a colonial power. They had military bases all over the world they were trying to support. They were deeply in debt. I know, see, history repeats itself. And it was collapsing, and the emperor at that time, Constantine, wanted to unify Rome, and his wife had just heard a man named Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, speak. And I wasn't there, obviously, so I'll paraphrase. She said something like, dude, you gotta listen to this guy. I think he's got something here. And so Constantine began listening to the teachings. He took those teachings and distorted them in the sense that he accepted only the ones that would support consolidation of his power in Rome. And anything that didn't support that, anything that empowered the individual, was banned. The texts were people were told to destroy the text. Anyone teaching them, they were doing so at the threat of execution. So these monks risked their lives to save one copy of what they felt were some of the most profound of those texts. And those texts remained in that jar. Who knows how many people walked, I think about this a lot, how many nomads walked over that in the sand, and how many cattle, rolled over them in the sand, until 1945. 1945, a young farmer was looking for fertilizer, and he uncovered this vase, took it back to his home. He and his mother opened it. They had no idea what it was, but firewood is rare along the Nile. The texts were made out of very dry, brittle papyrus, and no one knows for sure how many became kindling for this home and how many meals were cooked from burning these texts until the authorities discovered them. 1945, they were discovered. The translations were not complete until 1977. Well, they weren't released to the public until 1977. It's 32 years. What could possibly be in those texts that would warrant the time and the energy and the money, the Catholic Church, corporations, governments, paid money and legal fees to prevent these texts from being shared in the open public. They were released 1977. In 1986, less than 10 years later, I went to see these texts. I went to Cairo, to the Coptic Museum in Cairo, and we were given access. We could see these for the first time. We were some of the first that had the opportunity in public to see these. They became known as the Gnostic texts of Nag Hammadi, because that was the name of the village where they were found, and they also are known as the Nag Hammadi Library. Some of you I know are very familiar with these. Some have never heard of this. That's why I want to give you a little backstory. What could possibly be in those texts that would warrant that kind of time and energy? Well, the answer to that is found when we go into the texts themselves. One of the most famous, the best known, and if you know Gnostic texts, you probably know this one, is the Gospel of Thomas. Thomas was a scribe, and again, I wasn't there consciously, but Jesus said something like, "Hey Thomas, I'm going to go talk to these people today. If I say something really good, write it down." Thomas said, "Okay." And so, but I say it that way because it's not like the other Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's not like stories. It is a collection of 114 statements that Yeshua, which was his name before it was translated into Jesus, 114 of these statements. And I'm just going to begin with a couple of these, and I'm going to do it from memory, paraphrase, because they're so profound, and we're going to go quickly into one of the most profound texts. And what I'm going to ask your permission, are you okay if we go really deep, really fast? Can we do that? Yes. Can I share something with you in about 20 minutes that we usually do in 4 days? Yeshua, he said that when those that seek will find. Okay, when you start looking, you're going to find. When you find, you'll become troubled. You'll become troubled because what you discover is not what you have been taught to accept. You're going to find out where the lies are. He said, those that seek will find. When they find, they become troubled. When they become troubled, they become amazed, and they will master over all. Because once we understand the truth of our relationship to ourselves and to the world around us, it eliminates the fear of walking in this earth, feeling like a victim. He went on to say that when you bring forth that which is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And I want you to think about this. You and I were given a gift. We inherited a power in our bodies given to no other form of life. It is a quality of light. And this is going to be important when I start talking about the gift of Sophia. And when I talk about light, it's not the light from a light bulb. It is a light from a realm, a dimension. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. It's a zone. It is the essence of another realm that vibrates, it resonates within us, within every cell of our bodies. Now, as a scientist, I can tell you exactly, I'm going to do this really fast, I can tell you exactly why that is. The Journal of Soft Computing came out with a peer-reviewed article that said human DNA is a three-dimensional fractal antenna that tunes to frequencies across a broad spectrum of information. That's science telling you that you've got something in you that hooks you up to another realm. And our history is the story of us trying to preserve and protect that relationship. Because when you are connected to that realm that is called your divinity, you are one powerful, beautiful, masterful, loving, compassionate, forgiving, and healing being. And you're very difficult to control when you are that way. When you lose that link to your divinity, now it's always there. Nobody can make it go away, but you can be distracted and you can be told lies and you can accept those lies from your family and from your education and from your religion and from your society and from your culture, and you hear it enough. This is where these texts become really powerful. They didn't want the truth of these texts to come out because the Gnostic texts are telling us about this power that lives within us. I'm going to go right, I mean, you could see, we could spend all day. By the way, Jenny just whispered in my ear on the way out, and she said this actually lasts 4 more hours. So if you got 4 more hours in here, just kidding. So you look terrified. No.
Take your time, buddy.
No, I don't know what time we started.
You say that like it's a bad
We
thing.
start at 10.
No, what time
We
did I
usually
start just now?
Oh, you started at like
10:15.
quarter after.
Okay, so I've got,
You got
there's-
another half an hour
there's a,
and
there's
40
a,
minutes.
no, there's a glare on the clock, so
10:30.
so it's timeless, thank you.
You
So
do.
what I'd like to do, first of all, does it make sense, what I'm saying? And this isn't about making anyone wrong. I think we've outgrown the rightness and the wrongness. This is about recognizing the deep truth of who we are, what it means to be human, and it's always been important, but it's vital now because we're building a new world. And there are different ideas and different forces and different agendas for that new world. And if you don't know who you are, it's really easy to get lost in the marketing for AI, in the marketing for computer chips, because the marketing says all you have to do is surrender your humanness and your life is going to be easier, you will live safer, and everything will be provided for you. All you have to do is give up the essence of who you are. And there are a lot of people that say, hey, bring it on, because they've been taught that they are flawed, that they are worthless, that they are broken. The Gnostic text, this is the Gnostic perspective. It's so different from fundamental Christianity. So let me just say, Gnosticism is a branch of Christianity close to the source. All right? And before Constantine began doing what he was doing, what the Gnostics say is heaven isn't a place that you have to wait until you die to go to. That heaven is a reality that already exists beneath our perception, the polarity of our perception. In other words, heaven is right here. The heresy of the Gospel of Thomas is Yeshua said, the kingdom is inside of you. The church wanted everyone to believe it was out there and that we need someone to help us get to that. We need an intermediary to say the prayers and do the rituals, and you give them some money and then they help us on our behalf. And the Gnostics said that's not true at all. The kingdom is within you. He lost his life for that belief system. But when you now think of what the science is saying, that within you is a 3-dimensional fractal antenna in every cell of your body. The average person has about 50 trillion cells. You've got a whole bunch of antenna tuned to a place, a realm, that brings light from the highest realm, this is going to be really important in a minute, into the dense matter of this material world in a way that no other form of life can do. That's why you're so special. That's why you're so rare. That's why you're so precious. Unlike any other form of life, there's something inside of you so beautiful, so ancient, so rare, so precious, that the powers that be for millennia have tried to suppress that power within you. And that's what that power is. It is your ability. You are living, you and I, we're in this together. We're in the dense material world, but we were given what is called the light of the aeons. Okay, so now let me get into a very specific text. One of the Gnostic texts that was in that jar is called the Pistis Sophia. If you're not familiar with the word pistis, it has different translations. It essentially means fidelity. And it's not fidelity in terms of a partnership and a relationship. The way we think of it, it's fidelity to the truth within us, honoring our own relationship to a higher realm. Pistis Sophia is a fascinating text. To understand it, you've got to understand who Sophia was. To understand that, you've got to understand the Gnostic architecture of the cosmos. And we'll do it like in a minute. So in the Gnostic traditions, and if you're a scientist, there are parallels between this and simulation theory. I won't go into that, but I want to say those parallels are there. To the Gnostics, there is a realm. There's a realm called the monad that is the essence of all essence. It's the source of all source. It's beyond words because it contains everything. You can't even define it because by defining it, you're limiting what it is. from that monad, from that source, there were perfect emanations, 30 of them that were created, called pleroma. 30 pleroma, perfect emanations of the source. If you're a scientist, you would call those simulations from a base reality. If you're not a scientist, forget what I just said. 30 of these pleroma, and each pleroma, each emanation, perfect emanation of the one, had a force overseeing it. Sophia was one of those forces. Sophia was overseeing a pleroma, a perfect emanation of the one. For reasons that are really very complex, Sophia made a choice. The church wants you to believe that she made a mistake and that she fell from grace. She didn't, according to the Gnostic text. She chose to leave that perfect emanation and descend into the dense matter of the material world where she had never been before. You have done the same thing. There's a part of you that's not from here, and a part of you that has come through all those layers, all those frequencies, all those dimensions to be in this room, in this material world right now. Now, Sophia had never done this before, and part of the process of descending into material matter is we forget who we are. We lose touch with that high realm. We have a sense that there's something there, but we say, oh man, there's something there, but I can't quite feel it. You've ever had that experience before? We all do, since we were kids. What Sophia did is the reason that I'm sharing this with you today. She went through, there are 12 processes that she went through because she had never been in this material realm before. I'm not going to lead you through those today because you're already going through those 12 processes. There are frequencies of human experience, frequencies like anger, frequencies like jealousy, frequencies like lust, frequencies like joy, frequencies like ecstasy, all the human experiences she'd never had. So she went through those to elevate her to one place. You're already doing it as your life. You're living those frequencies. The 13th process that she went through is what I would like to lead you through in here today. She didn't ask to be saved, and she didn't say a prayer for help. What she did was she created an experience inside of her body that resonated with the part of her that was in the pleroma to establish the memory of that bridge. All right, you with me on that?
Yes.
There's a part of you that doesn't live in your body, and science knows this now. This isn't metaphysics, or it can be, but science knows this. And your access to that is a vibration. It is a frequency in the DNA of every one of the 50 trillion cells in your body. She created a vibration about silence. Silence isn't where the action is. It was about stillness. Stillness is different than silence. Silence is the absence of sound. Stillness is the absence of motion. When we are all spun up with all of the fear and all of the things, finances and health and wars and politics and all that, what we're doing is we're giving our power away because it keeps our stillness in chaos. Every time you create the stillness, not the silence, you can go into a rock and roll concert where the music is loud and you can find stillness. It's not about silence. It's a powerful difference, stillness versus silence. She created the stillness that resonated with the point of her origin in the pleroma. And in that, she established the memory and found her way home. She followed that stillness and found her way out of the material realm, found her way home. Now, I'm not suggesting we're going to go home today, but what I want to say to you is this. Every time...
We're already home, Greg.
Well, we're home. I know. Home. You know, I found this home in 1986. There's a whole story behind that.
We have a story.
Every time, this is important, every time you touch the stillness in a very, very precise way, what you do, in the process of doing that, the fear in your life loses its power, and the lies that you've been told lose their authority. The lies lose their authority. They're still there. They don't mean the same thing. And the fear, you begin to interpret it differently because you have established the bridge, that the resonance with a part of you that maybe is lost, maybe is forgotten. Now, here's the key, and this is where it gets really interesting. The Gnostics knew something about the human heart. I had a cardiologist I was teaching with Dr. Bruce Lipton. You guys know Bruce Lipton? Oh, yeah. My dear brother. We were teaching together, and the cardiologist came during the break. He says, "How come I don't know what you just told me?" And I said, "Well, you're here now, so you know it, you know." Okay, in the human heart, in your heart, between the left ventricle and the right ventricle, there is a space. Now, scientists believe it's just an empty space. To the Gnostics, they saw this, and they have a name for it. It's called the cave of the heart. It's called the lotus of the heart. It is an acoustic chamber, and when you hold a resonance in that place in your heart, as we go through a process of creating coherence, we're going to do it right now. When you do that, you're establishing that link with that pleroma. And even if it's for a fraction of a second, every time you can access that stillness. And I talked to Jenny last night, and she said, those people are trying to make it through the week. I do this to get through my week. When I'm having a tough phone call, when my friends are dying, when they're taken off of life support, and they're on the in-between, when when I have 12-hour delays on a plane flight, but they won't cancel the flight. It's just delayed 12 hours. I go into this place, and it doesn't change what happens. It changes how I respond to what happens. And I become healthier, and I become a better version of myself, and I am more present to help and to love those around me that are looking to me for support and guidance. If you're in this room, I know this about you. Your community, your family, they're looking to you for support and guidance. You're the one that they turn to when the world changes and they say, "What just happened? What should I do?" This empowers you to be at your best for those that you love the most and make healthy decisions. Are you okay with that? So in the brief time that we have now, what I'd like to do, and we could go on, and there's a lot. This is a really high level. I went through that really quick. There's so much more we could go into, but you've got the essence because you told me I could go fast and go deep. You told me, and I did. So what I'd like to do, let's stop talking, and let's go through a little process. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you, we're going to put a little music on to kind of average out the background sounds. I'm going to lead you through a process of coherence. We're going to shift our focus, we're going to shift our breathing, we're going to shift the feeling that we have. And then I'm going to invite you, as you focus into that little chamber in the heart, what Sophia said, the mantra that she was saying. Now, this is translated from Coptic into English, so it's approximate. She's saying, "The light is with me, and I am with the light." The light is with me. What's she talking? Not a light bulb. The pleroma is with me, and I'm with the pleroma. And she's holding that vibration in that place in her heart. Please don't be deceived by the simplicity of that brief phrase. I say it to myself multiple times a day, and amazing things happen. All right? So, are you good with that? Yeah. What I'd like to do, let's see how our AV is going to work here. It's always good when the technology works. Okay, if you haven't done so already, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and allow your awareness to move from your thinking mind into your feeling heart. One of the ways the ancients taught us to do that is to gently touch our heart center in a way that feels comfortable for you, with a single finger. Am I supposed to be looking there? A single finger, a palm over your heart, whatever's comfortable for you, because your awareness will always go to the part of your body where you feel the touch. So I'm doing the same thing right here. Allow your awareness to focus on your heart center, specifically on that little tiny place between the two ventricles, that acoustic chamber. It was designed for you and I to create the vibration that connects us with the deepest truth of our existence. And with your focus on that place, that's the first step. The second step, I'm going to invite you to breathe a little slower than you would typically breathe. And the key here is to exhale for a period of time longer than the inhale. And when you exhale longer than you inhale, this is a language. And what you're saying to your body is, I am safe. I am safe. And in that safety, our system opens up to receive what comes next. So with your focus in your heart, I'm going to invite you to breathe a little slower. First breath, inhale, begin. And release. I'm doing inhale to 4 and you release to 6 or whatever's comfortable for you. Inhale. Release. Just feel that shift in your body. One more time, inhale. Release the breath. Do that breath one more time. Inhale. And release. To the best of your ability, continue breathing a little slower as if the breath is coming from your heart while you hold your focus in your heart. And the third step into that space, I'm going to invite you to feel a feeling, because you choose to have the feeling regardless of what the world is showing you. This is where your mastery comes from. Feel the feeling, a positive feeling of gratitude for anyone or anything. Gratitude. This is easy for me today because I am so grateful for the opportunity to be on this land, in this building, in this room, in this community, in this family, for the privilege of knowing ourselves in the presence of one another and loving ourselves as we love one another. Feel that gratitude as if it's coming from your heart. Continue breathing a little slower. Focus on the heart. And through these 3 simple steps, we're creating a coherence between the neurons in the heart and the neurons in the brain. It's a bridge. It's a harmony. And into this space, we drop the code that Sophia left in the words of her time so very long ago. I am with the light, and the light is with me. I am with the light, and the light is with me. Feel those words as you say them to yourself. Feel them as they reverberate in that space in the heart. I am with the light. The light is with me. You're declaring that you are whole and complete in these fractions of a second. the part of you that exists in another realm that's right here. It sometimes feels so far away, that you are one. I am with the light. The light is with me. Breathe into that space in your heart and feel the feeling. Sophia made a journey, the first of her kind, long ago, and mapped the path, mapped the steps, and mapped the code for us, not just to find our way home, but to bring our home into our bodies so that we can love without fear in this world. Bring the light from that realm into this material world. This is where we find our wholeness. Regardless of what the world is showing us, we hold that light to the best of our ability. That's how we love ourselves. That's how we love the world. And with that, I'm going to invite you to take one more breath. Inhale. And as you release that breath, become present in the space that we've created for ourselves here today. Gently begin to open your eyes. Every time you touch that stillness, you are claiming a piece of yourself. It cannot be denied. It's a piece that was never corrupted, it was never lost, never fractured, never broken, never flawed. And that's the piece Yeshua gave his life so that we could remember. And for that we give thanks in this room today. Okay, one more breath. That's the fastest I've ever talked about Sophia. Did you plug me in? Thank you.
Make whole my heart, the spirit of growing